Don, salamat sa kanyang tawang.
Salamat talangon, Professor Ian Jarabelo.
Good day, everyone. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Ian Jarabelo, your resource speaker for today's session. Before we are going to discuss our topic this morning, I would like to say thank you so much, Serene, for giving me this opportunity to inspire our Lumad friends, our brothers and sisters, no, Katutubo friends in different mountains and provinces in the Philippines. Thank you so much. And also to our viewers, thank you so much for having me here. This is really my great opportunity and also privilege and also honor as well to give you a very short and little insight, no, about reflective essay. So give me a moment. I'm going to present to you my PowerPoint presentation for a while. So here, today we're going to talk about reflective essay. Here, before we will going to define what is reflective essay, we have first to define what is reflection. No, sometimes we think that uh, reflection is something that we say to other people. So when you say to other people that you are pretty, then as well that you are also pretty, no? Okay, because these are the reflection. This is just like mirrors of you telling people that you are this kind of person. No, sometimes we think about that kind of reflection. We also try to acknowledge our past experiences and realizing something out because these are reflections. No, in any way, there are stages or perhaps when we get old. So those are the moments that we have a lot of reflections in our life. Next, so this is from Oxford Dictionary of English. When we are talking about reflection, reflection is the result of careful thinking, typically influenced by recollections of one past experience. So therefore, if these are our boxes of memories, so we tried to evaluate them now. We tried to decide or we tried to think that perhaps this kind of memory is very sad, no? Sometimes we also have our happy moments. That's why our reflections to that kind of experience is somehow wow, amazing that we had that kind of experience in our life. And sometimes people would have their kind of memories wherein they are going to regret something out. No, at the end sa ilahang life, they are very regretful. Na I hope I could have done this, no? I hope I do something about it before. But then again, those are just part of our reflection. No? Those are just part of being us, human. So here we're going to assess of what is an essay. So an essay is a short piece of writing of particular subject that is from Broukal 2010. This is a study from Broukal. Such essay could be argumentative. So you are projecting something, no? You are objecting to certain issues. That's why in argumentative, you have your stand with you. Second is the analytical. As you can see, when we are talking about analytical from the word itself, analytical, so we're going to analyze now your objection. So sometimes argumentative are connected to analytical because in analytical, you're going to have your process in evaluating or analyzing certain issues. So we also have our expository wherein you tried to influence others' decision, you tried to evaluate or you tried to judge something out of something. You try to judge argumentation. You try to judge the objections or the stand of people. So certainly, those are expository essay. So here comes reflective essay. So what is really a reflective essay? No, if I'm going to ask you, you tried to think of what is a reflective essay by then, no? Because we already did define different kind of essay. So I know that you have that kind of idea in your mind. So I do hope that I could just share that idea with you. personally soon. So a reflective essay is an exploration of a topic using personal thought and experience. So therefore, if we are going to discover or explore any topic, it could be a personal or other else experience. So therefore, we are now mobilizing or creating what is reflective essay. Other, it may be said that a reflective essay possesses the traits of a philosophical analysis of different experiences we face in our everyday life. This type of essay reveals the creativity of writers and their ability to change standard perception to a unique one, to their own unique perception of social issues. So therefore, if I'm going to become a writer of reflective essay, this could also mean that I am now writing a unique version of other else side. So sometimes this could not be our own experience, but then we are adding flavors to other else experience. But then again, you should not change, no? You should not change that kind of memories of someone you are writing with. But then again, if you are writing with your own story, no one could really judge that, no? Because just like MMK, that is your part of your story. So whenever you tell a story, so that is your side, no? So those are your own personal experience, so no one can judge you that. Next. So we have here an analytical piece of writing. We have description and also reflection. So when we say description, describe the facts that made up the events or the experience, or these are the set of the scene. So you are now describing what kind of scenario it is inside that kind of memories. So you are now also describing of what are the things that happen inside that memories or experiences, no? So those are description. We also have reflection, in which after giving off description, you are now trying to evaluate of what is that kind of experience by specific person, no? If that specific person is really happy, then now you're going to evaluate that indeed this kind of person is really happy about that kind of experience. Or by then, if that person is having a lot of regrets in his or her life, then by then you are to evaluate that kind of experience. Or perhaps if you're going to describe your own experience, then in reflection, you are now evaluating, or you are now giving judgments of what kind of experience you are having, no? If it could be a lot of failures, it could be successful, not successful experiences or moving up experiences. So whatever that is, you have to evaluate in order for you to take on reflection. So here we are to talk about organizing reflective essay. So here the steps to consider in structuring the essay. So we have here first, examine the essay question. No, we have to analyze of what are the set of questions that is needed to be answered later on. So second would be to read the marking criteria. So sometimes we have to base our reflective essay of what are the rubrics, of what are the criteria necessary. It could be the content, it could be the creativity on how we indulge ourselves in creating the reflective essay. It could be a lot of different kind of a scenario, no, in rubrics. We have third, identify the event or experience in which you will reflect. So we are not going to give something, no, a lot of experiences, but then again, you just have to identify of what kind of event, of what is that kind of experience that you're going to reflect. Kung daghan sad kaayo na siya, possibilities are mawagtang ang imong essay, no? Mawagtang ang imuhang pag-answer sa rubrics, mawagtang ang pag-answer nimo sa atoang essay questions, because you have a lot or have a lot to say, because you are now giving a lot of experiences. So by then you have to just identify just perhaps one or two experiences. Fourth, we have to ensure you maintain anonymity or confidentiality of patients and institutions involved. So therefore, sometimes we are not allowed to say the full name of that person, no, involved in the experience. Okay, syempre, we have to protect that this is actually data privacy. We have to protect the person inside that kind of experience. And sometimes, if we are talking about scenario that happened in specific place, you have also to hide that place. Okay, sometimes in reflective essay, we could write something good, like for the top example topic like HIV cases. We also have people who are deprived by their rights, so we have to protect them. No, we are not there to give, no, to give insight for those people na makapabuhat niya nila og bati. So we are there to protect them, and as well as give insight to their experience or give meaningful perception about their experience. Number five, we have to find answers to what, where, when, who, how, and why to the set of the scene. So dili ra ta mohatag og description alone, but then again we have to answer these things, no? Of where that experience happened, when was that experience happened, no? Or who are the person involved? You are not naming them, but then what kind of people they are, no? Inside that kind of experience. Now, number six, we have to note the main issues that you have been able to identify in relations to the experience. So now we have to identify the major issues or the major argumentations that we have to concern with our reflective essay, no, somehow. Seven is that you have to think of ways you can relate this main issues to the literature. Or sometimes we have a lot of sources because an essay alone could not really stand without support evidences. No, sometimes nga, if we're talking about research, if you're familiar with, and then we are talking about related literature in wherein we look for something or we look for a source in which it could support our claims to our reflective essay. So this can be very helpful, no? Especially if we're talking about reflective essay. We are to read a lot. We have to read a lot of articles. We have to read a lot of books. We have to read a lot of articles in order for us to sustain our reflective essay. Number eight is to jot down further notes to demonstrate your understanding or insight gain compared. We have to compare, and sometimes we do contrast. We do some cause and effect or a lot of things in our reflective essay. So we're not just there to again describe, but then again we have to compare at some point if this experience is uh, more than the experience of those people who are going to read your reflective essay. And sometimes we have to have our cause and effect because in any way we have to understand the whole scenario, no? Kay dili man na wala may effect ang usa ka butang if wala sa ni siya cause, no? Dili na mahitabo ang usa ka butang if wala siya cause. So there must be the reason behind that thing that is happening or behind the thing that happened. Now we're going to relate your insights to literature. So we have to connect. These are our evidences. Then we have to connect our scenarios. We have to connect that kind of experience that we're talking about in our reflective essay to that kind of literature. So there is not what we say connections, no, with our evidences. So might as well we are now proving our claims. We are now proving that kind of experience to be true. We are now proving that that kind of experience that we are telling to our readers is really happened, that really happened. Now, number 10, we have to make notes as to how you will make connections between theory and practice very clear. Sometimes our experience doesn't need to have a theory, but somehow if we're going to talk about as other else essay, and then we have to prove theories. No, we have to prove that there is really a need for us to incline ourselves with a lot of theories, and later on we're going to know that. We have 11 note down how will we discuss your personal and professional learning needs. So sometimes we have to evaluate after we are going to write if what are the things that need to improve, or what are the things that is really needed inside our reflective essay that needs to be added, no? Kay namagit yung natawag na proofreading and editing. So might as well we're going to recognize this importance in our creations of reflective essay. So we have here introduction. When we're talking about introduction, we have to tell the reader what the essay is about. No, unsa man jud imong essay? Is it about the experience you have about love? Is it the experience you have when you are moving on, or is this these are the experience, no, when we get to acknowledge and realize that we should love ourselves. So those are just the example of what is your essay about. So what exactly the essay focuses on, so it could not really focus for just one thing, but it could also focus on two things, no, the negative or positive effect of loving someone, or the disadvantages of or advantages of using computers, or using your social media, like example, for example, Facebook, no? What are the advantages and disadvantages of having Facebook account? Number three, why it is important to analyze this. So you have also to reason out why do we need to have this kind of topic? Why do we need, is there really a need for us to further explain that kind of experience to our readers? Number four, how it will be developed. No? It could be somehow definitions. We could have reflective models. So we do have a lot of ways on how to develop our introductions, or our preparatory part of giving off examples and descriptions of our topic. Next is that reflection in the body of the essay. When we are talking about the body of the essay, it is the description of the event, experience, and your feelings at that time. So now, we are going to describe of unsa may nahitabo ana, unsa may mga experiences nimo ana na scenario, unsa may na-feel nimo that time, diba? So what are the feelings that is involved in that kind of experience? You have to now to describe those things, because in reflective essay those are very important, because we have to connect, or we have to relate this kind of experience to our readers, no? That is why it has to be necessary for us to describe what kind of experience and feelings that we are having when we are about to create our reflective essay. Next is that evaluation of the event experience. So what was good or bad about it, no? So we are now evaluating of what kind of experience it is, no? Is it a sad experience? Is it a regretful experience that we have to really relate them to our audience before them getting to involve to that kind also of experience? So now we are now warning, giving them warning, no? Na these are the things that happened to that person and he regrets that. So somehow we are now giving heads up to our readers that if you don't want to become like that person, then you have to be like this. You have to change to be like this, no? So these are very important in reflective essay. Next is we have analysis of the event experience. These can be cause and effect, compared and contrasted, just like in our introduction. So we also have to give our analysis, our process of analyzing scenarios. Okay, we are not leaving our other else experience behind, man. If this is a regretful part, then how do we analyze it then? How do we compare this to other else experience, or what is the cause of that kind of experience. That's why we have this kind of effect. No? These are very important in the body of the essay. Next is what's. So returning to the situation, we are now using this cross model. So we are now defining of what are the cases, of what are the reasons inside our reflectory experiences. So here first is that you have to tell the purpose of returning to this situation. So you are now giving head points to your reader that why we have this kind of situation of unsa matong purpose? Why do we need to undergo with this kind of reflection? Why do we go to undergo having this kind of evaluation to essay? No? So these are very important factors that we need to consider. Second is exactly occurred in your words. So sometimes, are you familiar with quote and quote, diba? So nevertheless, this is very important. Why? Because this is the very thing that that person say or just said. So importante ko siya na i-quote and quote na to siya. It is because we are now giving authentic. We're now giving the truth words from the mouth of our person that we are writing, no? Or the people's experience. So very important kayo ang ato ang quotable words that is from our the person that we are giving off our reflective essay. Next is a third, did you see or did you do? So, and then, what did you see? Then, what did you do to that kind of experience? So now, this is telling us that whatever we see, there must be something that we have done to that kind of experience. So later on, in our reflective essay, we get to know, no, of what are the things that is seen by the person involved or the person that is experiencing that. And then later on, we will also know that what are the things then that person experienced do, no, or did before to that kind of experience. Next, or what was your reaction by then, no? You already have that's a scenario. You already we already know what you did. Then what was your reaction by then? Are you happy doing that, or are you sad, or are you being regretful to whatever the things that is happening between your life? So those are could be the things that is really necessary. So what did other people do? Example, your colleague, no, your patients, your visitor. So what are the things that other people do to that kind of scenario? Is there a way for them that in which they help you, or else ipasagdaan ra kanila to have that kind of experience? So possible, right? So we also have here for a while. So we also have here number 6. Do you see as Kate's aspects of this situation? Unsa may mo nakita by then, no? Na makapatabang sa pagdevelop sa is situation. Uh, what if na ay nitabang niya after that kind of things that happened? Then what then? No? What are those things that is reflected to your experience by then? We also have now what? We are now modifying future outcomes. So example are what are the implications for you, your colleagues and patients? So what are the lessons, no, it gives to your colleagues, to your patients, or to the people involved in your reflective essay? And also now what are needs to happen uh, to alter the situation. So unsa may mga butang na atong pang mabuhat para dili na nato mabuhat ang usa ka butang, diba? So kung nakasala ka na situations or na experience, then what is necessary things that need to be done? No, in that scenario, you have to alter the situation. You have to change the possible outcomes of the situations, or no, if you are going to warning other else in your reflective essay, then what could be the solution to every situation? Next is that what are then you're going to do about the situation. So after giving out lessons, and then what are then now that you're going to do in that situation? Next is what happens if you decide not to alter anything. Is there any way, possible things that would happen if dili nimo i-change ang isa ka situation? Or what if you have this kind of scenario in which you are to decide something, no, kung kinsa imong pilion. But then again, if pilion nimo ang isa, then what will happen if pilion nimo ang isa ka scenario, then these things happen, no? So these are just possibilities. Number 5, might you do differently in faced with a similar situation again? So along the way, you might have different, or you might have the same situation again. Then what will you do? No. Number 6, information do you need to face a similar situation again, or what are the things that is necessary to learn in going to that kind of similar situation again? And last would be, are your best ways of getting further information about the situation should it rise again? So the possible solution that you did before in that kind of scenario, is it really effective even now to your similar situations? So you're going to give off the information, no, sa imong reflective essay body. So you are now giving a lot of informations to your reader about the things that is happening, or the things that is you're going to give off now, warning to people. You are now giving them a heads up of if this thing happened, then might, no, it might happen that it will give off effect like this. Then excuse me, if this is the cause, then sometimes it could be something will happen at the end of the journey. So those are just part of your of the body of your reflective essay. So we have here the last, before I'm going to end, no? We're now talking about conclusion, very important factors in giving of our reflective essay. So first is we have to provide a summary of the issues explored, no? Itag sa tagsaon na nato sa nga to ang reflective essay, no? From what, where, when, who are the people involved. Now we're giving of a summary unsa may nahitabuan na throughout sa duration sa imong body, unsa man to ang nahitabo, unsa may mga realization factors, unsa may mga possibilities, and might things happen if these are the things that going to happen, no? You are now going to give the summary of what is really happening of your body sa imong reflective essay. Number 2 is that remind the reader of the purpose of the essay. And then at the end of the journey, you have your stand. At the end of your essay, you have your stand that this is your purpose. You are now giving them insight that you are writing this kind of reflective essay, so that, and so on. No, it could be you are giving them insight of what are the things that is really necessary for a couple, no? If you're talking about couples in your reflective essay, and then if we're talking about scenarios that is very regretful in the past experiences of other people, and then your purpose is that you have to give warnings to people. You have to give warnings to people that it might happen to you. Then with these are the things that you need to do. Okay. Number 3 is that you have to suggest an appropriate course of action in relation to the needs identified in the body of the essay. So, nevertheless, you also have your recommendation, very important. Then, what are the things you can recommend then with that kind of experience? So, the whole duration of your reflective essay is talking about lessons. You are talking about evaluating such experiences. You are giving out judgment, and then you're also giving out reminders and suggestions you are now giving off to the readers that this could happen, but then again, I have to remind you this, and I have to suggest that it might happen, and then what would be your suggestions by then to the people involved, or to the people that were going to experience the same way? No, so these are very important, and you have to remember that in creating your reflective essay, it could be a 5-paragraph essay, it could be 4-paragraph essay, or 3-paragraph essay, as long as it contains introduction. You have to introduce of what kind of essay or what kind of topic you're going to introduce to your readers. No, we have to remember to have a very concrete our body of reflective essay. So very important to consider in our body that it answers what, where, when, who are the people involved. Also evident, no? What are the evidence that, or what are the description, or what are the things that happen, no? And then the solution, or the things that it aids to the certain issues. And third would be conclusion, in which we just discussed, no? The importance of conclusion, because it adds up everything, and also it gives off the purpose of having this kind of essay to your readers. So I do hope we have a very meaningful, no, experience of learning about reflective essay. And thank you so much for having me this kind of session. And if you have questions, you can just PM the organizers, and also I am willing to give series of activities, and also presentations of how to improve reflective essay and other else essay. So I'm willing to help you that. And please contact the organizers of this event. So thank you so much, and you have a great day ahead.
Pangarap kong mabuhay sa isang ligtas na pamayanan. Pangarap kong makapagtapos ng pag-aaral sa pamamagitan ng libreng edukasyon. Pangarap kong magkaroon ng sapat na pagkain sa aming tahanan. Ako si Sikame, tubong North Cotabato mula sa lahing Manobo. Pangarap kong kilalanin ang yaman at ganda ng aming kultura sa buong mundo.
Masaganang buhay sa kabukiran, namuhay kang merong kalayaan. Hininto ang pusong kayamanan, minsan na ring nilapas tanganan. Katulad mo ay may puso rin, ikaw ay meron ding damdamin, isipan.
Sa tubig, lupa at karagatan, sa piling ng inang kalikasan, biyaya ay iyong nakamtan.
Subok na ang iyong kakayahan, ligtas ang iyong aking karunungan, mautak, magaling. Magsikap ka, suot ko sa ngipin ng lahi mo. Huwag sanang hayaan maglaho. Magsikap ka, suot ko sa ngipin ng lahi mo. Huwag sanang hayaan maglaho. Ikaw ay may pananagutan, katungkulan. Huwag ka nang mabulag-bulagan. Suot ko'y naglaho na di na makita, puso'y naging dayuhan.
Nada ka yan di na adali ka di mayong
Para ka
tapiyo sa
Keren tao sa tipun, keren tao lumot, tolong humul, kuaragan
ito minod ko wakla ngun na poni lord bakit
Magsikap ka, suot ko sa ngipin ng lahi mo. Huwag sanang hayaan maglaho. Ang sanggarong dumong sa tuwali, alam ba ang gunong samfong? Beato luz, katolala, belea. Panigudo ka, sulod ko, luwasa sa kaliwat mo. Hadinong bayan-bayanan ha, malaan. Pamingkamot, suon ko, iwasa to kaliwat no. Kunano po dumog, pasagdanog, kayaan. Papagal ang wari ko, ororami katuko amwe. Kago naman, may de, magpandahan. Lukaka, suot ko, tawangin kong bato. Yakaw po, tohonan at kontari. Magsikap ka, suot ko sa ngipin ng lahi mo. Huwag sanang hayaan maglaho.
Kapayapaan at kaunlaran, simulat sa pool, ay hangad na natin. Subalit, kung ang pagkakaugnay-ugnay ng buhay ay paulit-ulit na nilalapastangan, papaano natin pagdudugtungin ang kaunlaran at kapayapaan? Ang kapayapaan at kaunlaran ay magkabilaan, magkaugnay at magkapatid. At ako'y naniniwala na hindi pa huli ang lahat upang ating makamtan ang kapayapaan at kaunlaran. Ako ay isang katutubong Pilipino. Kasama ko ang mga bituin sa langit. Kasama mo ako, suwad ko.